Thank you, Daisy. So happy to be here and need to thank you for pulling this all together. As someone who's been involved with Sail to 60 from the beginning, I can tell you that we're excited to be involved from Orange County Public Schools perspective, and I'm so impressed with the urgency and ideas being shared on this call so far. It gives me a lot of hope for what we're doing. And as someone who's been in advertising for over 10 years in CTE, I can tell you I couldn't be more excited about the progress we're making. And I'm looking forward to talking with our two guests today, Melanie and Andrew. I know Melanie pretty well here at Orange County Public Schools, and I know Andrew a little bit as well. Especially some of those great events on the east side of town and doing a lot of innovative things, pulling schools, education, and businesses together. So we're going to jump right into it. And the first question I have is a two-part question for Melanie. And it's essentially, how important are business partnerships to Orange Technical College, especially now with the attention on rapid credentialing? And how does OTC partner with those businesses to make students successful once they are able to attain that credential?
Thank you, Parker. Excuse me. Business partnerships are extremely crucial to the work that we do at Orange Technical College and in CT throughout the region. With the idea of shifting from our traditional clock hour, 1,200-hour, 1,600-hour programs to the rapid credentials that Chancellor Mack mentioned, 2 to 20 weeks, and then working to articulate those credentials into college credit, we really need the guidance in the program development from industry. If we're going to take a 16-hour program and try to condense it into 20 weeks, 16 hours would be about a year and a half, generally speaking. We need to know what those skills are crucial to industry so someone can leave our programs and enter the work world successfully, knowing that we're going to invite them back so they can stack their credentials, they can add on, but we could get them in to the world of work where they could begin earning money, particularly in the economic environment that we're in. So we're working to take a look at what's out there, adapt our frameworks and our benchmarks, and engage with our advisory and our community partners to help us determine what are the best programs for them and how do we affect them in a way that is beneficial to the work industry. And in terms of partnering with businesses to make them successful once they earn their credentials and are ready to move on, well, they hire them. That's the number one priority. And if the program takes a little longer, then we're looking to them for practicums, work-based learning, your clinicals in the healthcare field. So, some agencies even sponsor their employees to return to Orange Technical College to stack their credentials so that the company bears the burden of the expense if the student doesn't qualify for one of our many scholarship opportunities. So to sum it up, we really rely on our business partners to make our programs valuable.
Thanks, Melanie. This question is for you, Andrew, and feel free to expound as you like, but how does the Chamber partner with both businesses and educational institutions to help close the skills gap? And feel free to reference any examples here in Central Florida.
Sure. Well, a lot of the things that we've done and have worked with is, we participate in myself personally with Orange County Tech or the Orange Tech. And what is great about that is bringing the businesses together and knowing and hearing from what the school's offering, but also what businesses, what they need from businesses. So part with that is, trying to bring those people to the table so that, for instance, with Orange Tech, is so that they know and they can hear straight from our businesses of what their needs are. And so being that connector between the businesses and the educational system is really important to us to bring that together so that all of our members and the businesses have a say-so. The schools are bringing up and putting in the programming and the needs that are there. I think with a lot of that, it just really helps to solidify what we're doing here in Central Florida and putting pieces together, putting the pieces in place so that we have these, the institutions and the courses for people to take so they can get ahead in our, for the industries and businesses that we have available.
Thanks, Andrew. I know you've done some innovative things here in Central Florida, and hopefully we can dive into some of the ideas in a little bit. Back to you, Melanie, kind of a big question, and we understand that there's a topic of conversation right now around students finding their essential potential here in Orange County, and I'm just curious, how has COVID-19 impacted Orange Technical College programs as a whole?
So, you know, when we went to the shutdown shortly after, I think the second or third week of March during our spring break period, our teachers quickly shifted their clock hour hands-on competency-based programs to virtual instruction through an online learning management system. They had to think very creatively in order to continue to address the essential competencies required for students to graduate and move into the work world. As soon as we could open, which was June 28th, we invited our students and our faculty back, particularly our students from the spring semester, so that they could do the required competency-based components of the instruction and get out into the work world as quickly as we could get them. You know, when we returned to school in August, we went virtual for the first 2 weeks. That was, you know, at the request of the superintendent, while we ensured that we had all of our safety protocols, our health and safety protocols, but our teachers were ready to come back. We went face-to-face, and all of our programs right now are face-to-face so that the students can work in the labs, the shops, and we can move them into practical learning experiences as quickly as possible. We have a strong staff. Excuse me, they are extremely dedicated. They want to be in the classroom with their students so that our students can get out into the work world. So while it affected us over time, we're kind of shifted back around to the competency-based model while we work to focus on developing rapid credentialing opportunities.
Thank you, Melanie. Question for you, Andrew. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of the term the skills gap and how that's affected us here in Orange County. You know, I know we've had a lot of conversations so far throughout this event about opening access, making people aware of opportunities. And as the president and CEO of the East Orlando Chamber, I'm sure you have a lot of conversations with businesses and industry about their needs from a skilled labor perspective. And just curious as to how that conversation is going with your members, where some of the needs are, and what we're looking at moving forward.
Yeah, you know, not to dive back into it, but that's the biggest thing that we're hearing, especially in the manufacturing sector, is that aging workforce. And, you know, everybody that's on this call is aware of those. And so with that, you know, there's that gap where they don't have the skills people there. They're needing the training to get people up and running. You know, the time seems to be running out on that because they don't have the folks there. And for them to start bringing people in, and what we've heard is, you know, they'll bring people in that aren't necessarily have all the credentials. They have pieces, but they really don't know what they're doing, and it puts such a strain on the business to be able to keep manufacturing or keep the products moving and rolling while you're trying to train somebody and get them up and running. So if they can have some general pieces, general information and skills that they can get for that to help them accelerate where they are with those. I mean, we've had discussions and know that a lot of these businesses that are in our area, you know, from the manufacturing side, you've got Mitsubishi, Collins, you've got the theme parks that have needs for these folks that are here, and even the airlines, you know, with the airport. I mean, I know that's a downturn right now a little bit, but you know, with those parts and pieces that need to be manufactured here, and now with the Space Coast ramping back up, there's so much potential for that. And now with what COVID has done with putting a lot of people out of work, now's the perfect opportunity to allow people to get back into some other type of career than these entry level or low paying hospitality jobs. And you know, from that aspect of our members in that area, that may be a while before that returns. I mean, that's sad to hear, but that's what we're hearing from them, that they're right now running on skeletal crews. Meeting with some of the hotel folks, you know, they've got a staff of 6 to 8 in a 200-room hotel because they have 4 rooms rented. And, you know, that's scary when you have those employees that are now sitting there furloughed or unemployed. And here's opportunities that, you know, as soon as we can get things up, that may be able to better their lives, better their wallets, help their families. But there is a need from all of these manufacturing pieces, especially on the east side, and folks that are there. So that's really what we've heard from a lot of our manufacturing members and folks that are there, is they just, it's a need because time is ticking and they don't have the people trained or can fill into those spots as the retiring age of a lot of those folks are coming up in the very near future too.
Great points, Andrew. And I'm so happy you brought up the need to reskill and upskill for a lot of the employees in our local market. And Melanie, my next question is for you, and it's related. How important are advisory board members to OTC in the name of business and industry and how they work with our programs? And how is it beneficial for our school to have those advisory boards?
So I touched on it briefly, but I want to go into it a little deeper here. I know that Dr. Armbruster before me started the Workforce Advisory Council, and I would like to continue that initiative as I'm, kind of fitting into the shoes, so to speak. I've been digging into his Vision 2024 plan, which kind of addresses the reconstruction of our campuses, the modernization of them, if you will, and transforming them into what we're calling the institutional model. And so if you take a look at our Orlando campus, that will be largely focused on health sciences, given the proximity of where it is downtown. That's a perfect location. If you look out at our Avalon and Winter Park campus, we're going to be looking largely at information technology, modeling and simulation. It's a perfect location for that campus, a perfect partnership with my colleague Andrew. And so our campuses will each be designed with a career cluster focus. As we shift to that model and as we look towards the superintendent strategic plan, which goes through 2025, I'm looking at the Workforce Advisory Council as helping us align our strategic plan with the superintendents and then bringing that vision to life with what business industry needs, the economy needs, and what our students need. And so I'm going to go back to this rapid credentialing idea because the Orlando Economic Partnership is exploring something that's very interesting to me right now, and that is the skills-based hiring. And so rather than focusing solely on the credential, and I know this is Sale to 60, so bear with me because I'll bring it back around, on whether or not somebody has an associate's degree or a bachelor's or a master's, they're taking a look at the local people who are out of work because of COVID, our wait staff, our cashiers, our maids and housekeepers, and they're looking at those skill sets that they have and how do those skill sets translate into needed employment opportunities where there are vacancies now, and how can we showcase those people's talents to get them into employment immediately. I'm interested in looking at those skill sets and how can we upskill them quickly? How can we help them get proper credentials so that they can get to work, so that then when they want to return to the state college or to our college for further credentialing, that they're able to do so. And we're going to need advisory boards to do that.
Very well said. And Andrew, actually, you sit on one of the advisory boards that Melanie just mentioned for our Winter Park and Avalon campuses. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and maybe how it's been beneficial to you and to maybe the students as well?
Yeah, I really appreciate being on that. It's one that it's eye-opening, and being able to have a voice to help with Orange Tech be able to put the programs into place, and then reaching out to our member businesses also to be able to come in and have that voice for Orange Tech, because I really feel that, to be a successful organization, you've got to have the outside helping to fill in the inside. You can't do it from the inside out. So to be able to have that voice and to be able to bring in other members to those council meetings or those advisory meetings really, I think, helps solidify and really strengthen the mission behind what Orange Tech is doing, because they're getting that information from that. And then the students, having actual employers that are on those councils or in those advisory boards, where they're meeting business people, they're hearing what the needs are and what the employers are looking for, really, I think, helps to solidify that piece with the students. They have different breakouts where we're interacting with the students, where they're hearing from what the workforce is going to be like. What is it going to look like to work for specific companies and pieces and businesses that are out there, so that they have an understanding what it's going to be like on day one, or when they're looking for those jobs, how to present themselves and to be the best candidate for those roles. So I think with the chamber, to build those connections between the educational system and also then the private sector with the businesses and pieces going together there, really help to strengthen the community as a whole for the businesses, because you can't do one without the other. If you don't have the talent, you can't be successful in business. We want to keep the talent here in Central Florida. We want to keep growing our community here. And that's just one of the great partnerships that we're able to put together and work with as two different entities, but to bring people together to really help our community.
A follow-up question for you, Andrew, and something I'll tell you is, for myself personally and a lot of the people at Orange Technical College, one of the most fulfilling parts of our job is the full cycle nature of when we get to see a need in the community, a business and industry needing to fill a critical gap in a well-paying career, having students available to fill that, and then creating a course, completing it, and seeing those students actually working in the field and starting their career, kind of the full cycle of what we're trying to do. So what would you say to businesses or industry leaders who might be on this call or are going to hear later about how they could get involved with, an Orange Technical College or get involved with a local institution to help drive the Sail to 60 initiative kind of themes?
I just looking at it at that, it's, just jump in there and do it. It's not a lot of time commitment to do so, but when you can help that out, and from my experience, just sitting on there and challenging or questioning what has been presented as a business mind, I think helps strengthen that group. And there's been a number of things that we've been adding to it. We've got a couple members that sit on that board along with me, and to be able to have that outside piece really just, I think it's magical. And when you hear that and you're meeting with the students and you see these students that are now engaged in something that's going to get them a job because it was there and you had a piece of that to help make that planning and those get them ready for the jobs that they're going to be jumping into. It doesn't take a lot of time, and just to be able to share your expertise and what your needs are. And there are great paid jobs out there that may not require a 4-year degree or a master's and pieces from there. And you can be working in something that you like doing and make a successful career, or take the launch pad that gets you to where you're at, that now you're going to be able to grow and move into a higher level from that if you want to take that. But at least you got your feet in the door and you're working with an organization or a company that has the pieces that you want to have the skill set that you've learned, but now you can take it and grow to the next level.
Some great insights there. And as we sort of wrap up this panel here soon, Melanie, what do you think is the most important thing about this Sail to 60 initiative, the rapid credentialing conversation, and really just the work that we're trying to do here between business and industry to lead to that? What would you say is the most important thing in your mind about the Sail to 60?
Well, I think I'm going to reference something that both Coach P and Chancellor Mack touched on in their panel, and that's there's more than one way to a great career. Excuse me, we know that at OTC. So, the work that we do does provide that needed educational foundation for our students to get into work, to get started, to stack their credentials, to return to our campus if they want to articulate their credentials and the hours they earn with us to Valencia College, for example. Every single program we offer currently articulates to Valencia, so they can start here, they can get there, they can earn their associates in science from Valencia, and if they want to move on to UCF, they can do that as well. So we are helping them find that essential potential that you mentioned earlier, Parker, so that they can get into the work world right now and then work to build their credentials and sail to 60 as the governor would like to see us do.
Absolutely. And before we close out, Andrew, I hear that the Chamber has a project you guys have been working on focused on getting folks credentialized and employed, credentialed and employed. Do you want to tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, there's a couple pieces that we've done, and we work heavily with the private sector, and but in communication with all of our businesses that are out there, we have found that there's been a lot of needs, and have worked with an organization called STEMworks, which is putting together some CTE credentials that they're able to go out and do that within a 4 to 8 week program, to get their pieces so that they're ready for advanced manufacturing, so they can get in there and get the jobs and start training in there to get to that journeyman level where they can be trained. So The Chamber has put together a foundation so that we will be able to offer potential scholarships for these, help the businesses that are succeeding or opening up with the opportunities that are there, and really securing to put that together to help our folks and our citizens that are looking for work. But with that, the private sector also is trying to help and get this, and has identified the needs and being able to offer opportunities for credentialing and pieces through that. So then partnering with our educational institutions that then can get them even further up on their education ladder, if I were to say, to help them get going from there. But we're trying to work where we can to help the workforce get things out there, work as that partnership with the private side, with the public side, and how does that all work together? And we're excited to be able to partner with that to help our businesses grow and to help get them the talent that they need so that our businesses can succeed.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I just want to say, from an Orange technical standpoint, we're happy to help further that initiative, as well as the Get There initiative that Chancellor Mack referred to earlier. I think it's extremely important that we work together to levitate each other's messages and then share a collective on the collective importance of what we're all trying to do here. So that does wrap up most of our time, Daisy. If there are any questions, I'm sure Melanie or Andrew would be happy to take them, or we can respond later. But that is something we are happy to do.
Thank you so much. It was such a great conversation. Does anybody have any questions for Melanie or Andrew?
Can I take the one in the chat box?
Yes.
Would that be all right? So the question in the chat box is, are there any opportunities for current and future CTE teachers to receive college credit tuition waivers to increase teacher education pedagogy knowledge? At this point, CTE teachers who work in local school districts are not eligible for a state tuition waiver. That's an interesting question, because I was on the Chancellor's post-secondary CTE conference call yesterday, and that is some of the legislation that he is advocating for as we head into legislative season this fall. So if you're active at all in any kind of advocacy groups, definitely keep that on your front burner, because I think our CTE and adult education professional organizations will be working to move that along.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? You may be able to answer this one too. No problem, Lisa. What's the greatest barrier to post-high school or continuing education for most people? And how can we help those people who have limited desire to pursue additional training or education?
Well, I'll jump in, and if that's okay. I think sometimes when students are graduating from high school, there's perhaps a limited awareness of what's available for them. One of the goals I have, because I'm also over secondary CTE, is to continue the work that Mike Armbruster started before me, which is to get the students the education they need about the careers that are available to them. We do a really great job about talking about engineering, but we don't talk about mechanical engineering. We don't talk about launching rockets. Excuse me, I know that's kind of what I always wanted to do. So we're going to work really hard on trying to get students that education about what those careers are, what they earn, what they require, and whether or not they have that skill set, and making them then aware of the opportunities that are available to them to get there, if you will. There's the Chancellor's Get There.
Yeah. And if I can add on that, one of the things that makes me proud to be a part of the Orange Tech board is that, if somebody were to say it's a financial barrier, it's hard to say that, because it is so inexpensive to be able to attend that. And that's where the pieces with the Chamber, trying to put together those scholarships and folks for people to be able to attend that. But you can remove that barrier of saying it's that an overly expensive. It's not like you're putting in a 4-year degree right off and knowing that you're going to be in debt when you get out of there. You may put in an $8,000 to $10,000 investment that you can spread out, but when you're getting out and have that welding degree, or you have that manufacturing piece, you could be making more money that could pay that off within a couple months, rather than looking at a lifetime of debt if you got into a long-term or a college degree of something that you may not even be really interested or know what the jobs are going to be by the time you graduate from that program. So I think that's another piece that people don't know about, the affordability for some of these. And now in a COVID age, I think it's important to let people know that with a minimal piece of investment in yourself, you can get out and be making a lot of money in a very profitable job.
And I would just, to one more comment to dovetail on that, if we have folks who are interested, reach out to our financial aid office, because we have a great many scholarships available, and the cost of the program to you could be almost nothing. And so if the financial component is a barrier, give us a call, because I think we can help you.
For sure. There is another question here. So is there a program in Florida for free internet access to low socioeconomic families in rural areas? This should be a priority. I will say that this is something that's on UpliftED's radar, actually looking at the digital divide, the digital deserts, if you will. And so we're looking at this a little bit deeper, and we'll have even more information coming up. And I know school districts have provided some access to internet and all of that. Do you have anything more specific to add, Melanie?
I do know that the K-12 side of the house has hotspots available to lone families who are in need of them. So if that's an issue, you can give me a call and I can connect you with the right people.
Thank you for that. Any other questions for Andrew or Melanie?
Yeah, I'm going to add this on there. I'll just add another part that, even CareerSource, who I don't think was represented today, but I know works with you guys at UpliftED, have programs and also funding that is put together that you can even get some of this training paid for through CareerSource. I know that's what we're working with STEMWorks, is a lot of that can cover your costs for that training. So that's just another outlet and another resource, but it's getting that out to the public to know that funding and those availabilities are there for the workforce.
Yes, for sure. Well, I don't see any more questions, so thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. This was super helpful and informative. So thank you guys so much. We are going to move on to the next portion, which is really wrapping up. But if you have any last minute questions that are coming up, please go ahead and type them in so we can address them here in a few minutes, because we are a little bit early on time, which is awesome. But what's next? We would love to have your feedback. So after this webinar, you're going to receive a link to a feedback form. And we would love it if you can complete that. That really helps us to gear our programming and making sure that we're offering a great events, virtual events or in-person events when we get back to those. And also any resources or tools that are needed in the community. So please go ahead and provide that feedback. And there's also a section in there that talks about your involvement with UpliftED. So if you want to learn more about what we do, how you can get connected and partner with us, go ahead and fill that section out so we can reach out to you and get you involved in one of our impact teams or otherwise just in our broad partnership. And we want you to stay connected. We are on the web as far as social media is concerned. There goes our Facebook, our Twitter. The website has a great amount of resources and information on it. We are doing a revamp of our website soon to include more resources for adult learners, non-traditional students, but also some for those high school students. Even though our kind of niche area is for those adult learners and non-traditional students, we know and the importance of providing resources still for middle school and high school students, and we support that. And if you have any questions, always email us at goingtocollege@hfuw.org. And I see a chat come through. Yeah, so we plan on having the a recording on the website for everybody on demand. Once that's available, we will let you know. And also one other note is just if you took a picture or anything like that, because I know sometimes we do that and we want to share, but of that graphic of the chancellor's new campaign coming out, if you can hold off on tweeting any images of that, that would be fantastic. They are holding off until they make the official announcement for that. So let's keep that our secret. We're really excited about that campaign and helping to help Central Floridians and Floridians in general get there. So with that, thank you so much for your time and for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to the next one. Thank you.